Hi guys, welcome to another bowling form review video. So today we are finally going to review one of our dedicated viewers to the channel, which is Mr. Po Panda. So Mr. Po Panda here is a one-handed thumbless bowler, looking at the lanes and everything, and his language, I assume he's from the United States. So he has been regularly watching my videos and providing a lot of useful comments as well. And yeah, sure, why not give him a review as well. And I've looked through his channel, so you can actually visit Po Panda's YouTube channel here, and he has an assortment of videos, but all of his bowling shots, right, I've chose 4 of them. He has one that is in like the second month, I assume either second month of changes to his approach and release, because I don't think he has only been bowling for 2 months, because his fundamentals actually look pretty solid. So I don't believe Mr. Po Panda is like a brand new bowler, so to say. But maybe it's like second month of him, like maybe converting to a thumbless one-handed bowler, perhaps. Maybe he was like a one-handed bowler with his thumb in the ball in the past. And you can see his progress here. There is month 3, and recently he's just uploaded month 4, because he did mention that yes, he has to get away from the hurricane, and assume that he's safe now, which is good. So you can see his slight improvements here. So I want to go like just start criticizing his form. Generally, Mr. Po Panda here has decently good form. He has what we call four-step timing. I don't know whether for YouTube Shorts we can really zoom in. I don't think so. I think this is the best I can do. Yeah, around here. So most Po Panda has a 4-step timing. He starts with his right step, and we can see that here as well. So when he's stationary, this is stance, right? So when the bowler is stationary, we call this the stance, and then once they move, we call that approach. So 1, 2, 3, 4. So a 4-step timing. He moves his ball on so-called the 4th step. That means in sync with his 4th step, which is for a 5-stepper, which is our 2nd step. So I generally call this conventional ball placement timing, which is fine for a one-hander. So you can see that he actually places his ball a little bit higher actually. He's holding his ball. Okay, let's play this. So Mr. Po Panda actually holds his ball around his, let's see, yeah, around his tummy level. And because of his conventional ball placement timing, right, he naturally wants to place it a little bit higher, so that it gives his swing a little bit more time to complete. Because what I usually teach is delayed ball placement timing, where I teach bowlers to place it on the 2nd of their 5 steps, or the 2nd of their, the 3rd out of their 5 steps, or the 2nd out of their 4 steps, which is like 1 step later than what he's doing now. So since I usually teach that kind of timing, I will teach bowlers to place a lot lower so that they can still stay on time. But we can actually see how his timing is by looking at the timing of his 3rd step. So the 3rd step for a 5-stepper, but 2nd step for a 4-stepper. So in his 2nd step, right, which we will see here, so he has taken this step and he has taken this step, right? So now his ball is generally around the middle of his body. And let's see another video whether we can have a better view. Maybe from this one, from the right. So 1, 2. Okay, it's a bit too fast, so I have to look for the next turn. So I'm trying to pause the video at the exact point where both of his feet touches the floor. Something like that. So even though Mr. Po Panda here actually does conventional ball placement timing, when he actually goes into his 2nd step, right, his timing is already on the delayed timing. So he has already delayed his timing through the use of placing his ball a little bit higher, and he has a rather quick footwork as well. So you can see that he is already fully going into his 2nd step, yet his ball hasn't gone in between his left and right legs. So if it's a conventional timing, right, if you're talking about conventional timing, in conventional timing, by this stage where both your, like, the right leg is in front of the left leg and both legs are still touching the floor, at this particular phase of the timing, which is like the 3 out of 5 steps, the ball would be in between our legs. That will be conventional ball swing timing. So he already has delayed ball swing timing, which actually helps him to generate quite a fair bit of power. So because he doesn't put his thumb into the ball, Mr. Po Panda here has no problems generating power. So you can hit up on the ball quite a fair bit, gets pretty decent ball speed, and lots of ball ref, I think, because we can't really see the amount of rotations, but I would assume he has quite a fair bit of ball revolutions because of how fast he's clearing his hand. If you look at his hand motion as he's releasing the ball, he accelerates, right? He pushes and accelerates the ball forward, and he clears the finger holes at a pretty fast speed. So, which is what we want all thumbless bowlers to do. That means you take advantage of the lag of your thumb, get a very quick and fast acceleration of your hand forward to generate as much revolutions as you possibly can. It also helps with your ball speed as well. So in terms of ball speed, he has some decent ball speed. So what I did was that you can Google for timer, and you can just time the ball from going through the foul line, like here, to hitting the pins. So it's about 2.7 going through foul line, hitting the pins, about 2.7 go through foul line, hit pins, 2.7. So let's time another one of his videos. Through foul line, hit pins, 2.7. So generally about 2.7 going through foul line, touches pins. This one I clicked a little bit later, so I think his average ball speed should be about 2.7, right? 2.7 seconds to go from foul line to pins. So to calculate ball speed, it's a pretty simple formula here. Okay, so I've written it down. Basically, because the lanes is 60 feet, and for me, because I live in not in America, so we don't use the imperial system, so we use the metric system. So I would put my calculations in kilometers instead of miles per hour. So my ball speed will be expressed in kilometers per hour. Generally speaking, the competitive ball speed for a professional bowler, right, is about 17 to 18 miles per hour. When we convert to kilometers per hour, it's anywhere from 27 to about 30 kilometers per hour. So yeah, so 60 feet, we can take. So this is the amount of kilometers per feet. So 60 multiplied by this, you get 0.018288 kilometers for every 60 feet. So just take this distance divided by the amount of time taken. So let's say if it's 2.7 here, right? So we're gonna take a calculator out, which is 0.018288 we divided by 2.7, right? Then you multiply. So this is amount of kilometers per second. So we want to convert it to per hour. Just multiply by 60, which is in 60 seconds, and then we multiply by another 60 to convert it to 60 minutes, which is 1 hour. So we get about 24.3. Yeah, 24.3 kilometers per hour. Just round it to 24.4. So it is still somewhere from being competitive. That means he still has room for improvement to get his ball speed up to the 27 mark if he wants to get more strikes, get his ball to not say read the lane better, but to go down the lane even faster, right? Because the faster your ball speed, the easier it is in a way, because with higher ref rate, if you get decent ball speed, your ball will skid further. And it skids further, then you don't need to really play the kind of deep lines as he's playing here, right? Because in this particular video, he's lofting the left cutter. He's saying that there's no oil on the lanes, but obviously there is some oil, just that it's not enough, right, for the amount of ref rate he's producing and for his current ball speed. He needs to up his ball speed a bit further. So ball speed will be one of his main focuses. Accuracy-wise, I can't really say for sure, but what I've noticed is that Mr Po Panda here is struggling a little bit with balance. So from his 2-month video, you can see that regularly he falls off balance. And one of the struggles that he has with his body shape is that his hips are on the wider side. But even for bowlers whose hips are a bit wider, right, there are a lot of bowling so-called forms in America that actually solves the problem. One of the main thing is that the bowler has to actually tilt. For bowlers with wider hips, right, like what he has here, he has to tilt his upper body a lot more to the right side. And in this latest video, right, he actually does this pretty well. So you can see here he's recording different shots, but let me just pause in one of his shots here. Okay, so he actually does this pretty well. So during release, he tilts his body way to the right, which is actually very important. So So for a bowler, right, in order with wider hips, the wider your hips, the more you have to tilt your upper body to the right, so that you should clear your swing away from your hips. So tilt his body to the right, and you can see that he opens up his hips pretty well. So his hip line is here. So his hips are now facing to the right side of the lane. So it's almost going 90, the hips are always going 90 degrees side to side, right? So the key to getting the ball to go under the upper body, right, is to clear the hips. And to do that, bowler has to tilt his upper body more to the right, and also extend his trailing leg more towards the left as well. So this is something that he hasn't been doing in his past videos. If you look at like his in this video, he's also doing quite well. In his month 4 video, you can see that he's extending more to the right, extending his trailing leg more to the left. He's actually making effort to keep his balance arm up, so that's good. So in his other videos, his balance arm discipline was not that good. But in the earlier videos, you can see that this in month 2 and month 3 videos, he wasn't doing that as well. And because of that, he has been falling off balance on his shots. You can see here, so the mistake here was that he didn't extend he didn't tilt his his hip line enough. So, and he didn't extend his trailing leg to the left enough. He doesn't have enough body tilt or spine tilt to the right of his body, and the balance arm wasn't as high. So he was actually struggling with balance here. So as he improved, you can see that in the latest videos he improved on that. So my suggestion is for him to keep working on this. Keep working on this. Try his best to ensure that he can stick his balance arm up at the end of every shot. Keep his balance arm parallel to the floor at the end of every shot, and keep working on tilting his upper body to the right. Opening up the hips is good, and extending his trailing leg to the left. So that this way his hips are almost like 90 degrees to the pins, and that will give him a lot more space for his hand to swing, for his ball and his swing to come under his upper body. So the reason for that is that we need the swing to be so close to our upper body is that the closer it is to the left feet or to the knees, the more leverage that you have. Because the further away, if you're, for example, if the ball is landing a lot further away, right, from the hips or the left leg, you'll find that you cannot rev up the ball as much, and you can't really get as high of a ball speed as you like. Because this comes from the simple theory of like leverage, right? For example, if you're trying to lift something heavier, so let's say imagine if we are all Mr. Po Panda here, right? And we're trying to lift a heavy load, and the heavy load is the blue circles and the pink circles, right? So if our feet is further away from the heavy load, it's going to be harder to lift, right? Because of the rules of conservation of momentum. You're going to find it harder to lift the further your legs are. It's like when you want to lift a heavy weight like a sofa or a cupboard, or like if you're going to the gym, right, you want to do a deadlift, you want to lift the weight from the floor, you generally want to place your left feet as close to the weight as possible. So the same theory applies for bowling as well. You treat the bowling ball as a heavy weight, and you're trying to lift it as much as you can to provide as much revolution and much ball speed as possible. So you want your bowling ball to end up as close to your left knee or to your left leg as possible. So in order to do that, we have to clear the hips, tilt our upper. This is why we need to clear the hips, tilt our upper body to the right, extend the trailing leg way more to the left, and also establish a good good balance arm, right? So like I mentioned earlier here, this kind of form, and balance arm has to be straight. Okay, all right. So I hope that explains it sufficiently well. So other than that, he's actually doing a lot of things good, like he's accelerating his hand on the top of the swing, because as a thumbless one-handed bowler, right, the issue is that you cannot let your ball just swing down by itself, because if you do that, generally maybe possible, but it's harder to get a good control of the ball. There's a chance that you drop the ball at the top of your backswing. So which is why one-handed thumbless bowlers have to accelerate, like in this stage of the ball, right, at this stage of the backswing, when the ball is here. So if the bowler doesn't accelerate, there's a chance that the ball just drops right onto the floor here. So which is why this acceleration is very important, which is also good. The acceleration helps to like get the ball speed up, gets the ref rate up as well. So he already does this pretty well, and you can see that he gets under the ball pretty well as well, so which is here. So at this position, So Mr. Po Panda here, his hand, you can see his wrist. He cups, so his thumb is not in the ball obviously, and he cups under the ball sufficiently quite well. So the more you get under the ball, the better control you have, the more ref rate you can generate. And you can generally control the ball a little bit better because your hands have more surface area on the ball, obviously, because you're covering the ball deeper, you're getting more under the ball. So he does this pretty well as well. No complaints there from me. Generally, I think Mr. Po Panda here is quite close to getting pretty good. He just needs to like get his bowling form, his finishing position better, have more space, get the ball closer to his hips upon release. Other than that, ways to increase ball speed will probably be at the footwork. So if we look at his footwork, let's see if we can speed up his footwork a little bit more. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yep. So he has room to increase his footwork for the last 2 steps. So 1, 2, 3, 4. The 3 and 4 in his case is a little bit slower. You can see he's taking his the power step. So the power step is the second to last step. In this case, is Mr. Po Panda's third step. For a lot of us 5-steppers, right, is our 4th step. You can see that his power step is kind of slow. Whereby I've explained that for an elite for a high level two-hander, right, you want to take your power step and your slide as fast as possible, which is your last 2 steps. So he can actually speed up here. So Mr. Po Panda has room to speed up his footwork, and that speeding up in the last 2 steps of his footwork, right, will actually help him to increase his ball speed. So how he can do that? He can do the same drill that I've mentioned for kind of let me see. The same drill that I've actually mentioned for quite a few videos. Which is that? This one. Okay, I'm gonna mute it. So this sort of 3-step drill where you can do at home. So I'm actually not putting my hand in front of me, so you can do this for a one-hander as well. So just focus on leaning your weight forward, taking that left step first, then followed by quickly taking the right step and the slide. So you want to take the right step and the slide as fast as possible. But you want to kind of wait until your body is leaning forward. Yeah, you can your weight forward before you take the last 2, the power step and the slide. So I think from the side view is here. That means you let your weight lean forward first, then before taking that very quick power step and slide as fast as possible. So I think both one-handers and two-handers can practice this to speed up their last 2 steps, to try and increase the speed of their last 2 steps, to increase their ball speed. Okay, so I think Mr. Po Panda can benefit from that drill as well, increasing the speed of his last 2 steps, get a bit higher ball speed. So obviously, because he's American, so in terms of miles per hour, you want to aim to get the ball speed in the 16 to 17 miles per hour range. Once you can hit 16 to 17, if you can push it further to the 18 miles per hour range, then his ball speed will be really good to go, right? He'll be very competitive. You can get a ton of strikes. A bit of double bounce here, but that's in month number 2, which I think the double bounce comes from pushing the ball into the lane. Probably he doesn't get under the ball enough, which is what causing the double bounce. But yeah, he doesn't have the double bounce in month 3, and I believe in month 4 he eliminates the double bounce here. Yep, yeah, he eliminates it because he's getting his hand under the ball sufficiently, and since he gets under the ball sufficiently, you can see that his ball movement down the lane, during release, the release is quite smooth. The ball no longer double bounces. Yep. Okay. Other than that, anything else I can suggest to improve? Nothing much, I guess, because I can't really check his accuracy at this point. But as long as he can get his swing under his upper body, his accuracy should improve because his launch angles will be better as well. Other than that, just working on his pairs, then working on different lines, I guess. So once he's really good with his ball speed and accuracy, then he has to work on different lines on the lane, playing the outside lines, playing the inside lines, and he's already practicing his axis tilt and rotation, right? Right here is in this particular video, he's really practicing his axis rotation. So I would suggest to keep that up, to practice different kinds of axis rotation, right? Getting from as low as maybe 10 degrees of axis rotation in order to play the right side of the lane. So it means getting very little, so generating very little amounts of axis rotation to play the right side of the lane, to generating like 45 to maybe 50 degrees of axis rotation when you want to like loft the gutter and play the deep angles, right? And just practicing getting consistent at generating different kinds of axis rotation, controlling his ball speed as well, then obviously making good spares, getting like being accurate. And other than that, once his physical game is up there, then it is the rest of it is tactical, right? That means what balls to use, what kind of oiling, which area of the lane to play for different kinds of oiling and so on. And then he can just go and like try competitive tournaments and all that. So overall, pretty good stuff. And right, I hope that he continues bowling, continues to improve, because he is already showing good progress within these 4 months. And let's hope Mr. Po Panda can like get into the competitive leagues. Alright, just notice this after I finish at recording the whole video. But I noticed that Mr. Po Panda here actually needs to work on his slide as well. So if you notice on the last step here, he's actually planting his left feet on the lanes with his heels going first. So that will cause him to be unable to slide at all, because since you land heel first, the heels are actually your stopper instead of the slide. So you can see that in other videos as well, like from the side view. If you pay attention to his last step, so he's landing with his last step, the sliding step, with his heel first. So that makes him unable to slide. So what Mr. Po Panda has to do is that he has to work on his slide by landing with the front of the left shoe first. Like you can see here is landing with his heel first. So let's see whether because I don't have because we can't do slow motion. Yeah, we can't do slow motion with YouTube Shorts, but you can see obviously here, like this is I'll highlight this in red because this is a negative portion. So you can see that he is going heel first. So since he's landing heel first, right, that will make him unable to slide. And if he can't slide, he's not maximizing, like he's not transferring his momentum well from his body to the ball. So that kills a little bit of momentum and kills a little bit of his ball speed. So that is also, working on his slide is also something that will help him to get slightly higher ball speed and maybe slightly better consistency in his short release as well. So that is an issue. You can see that in this practice video as well. Then you can see here, right, pause, you can see he's landing heel first. So in order to land slide first, right, as per my earlier video when I was showing for the 3-step drill, yep, if you watch my form from the side, I will actually go with sliding leg first. So you can see from here. So even though I'm at home, my my floor here is on the the kind of like shiny slippery tiles. So it still provides a little bit of slide. So you can see that to work on the slide, right, the bowler has to work on getting the front part of the shoe. So I'll highlight this in blue. Like the front part of the shoe has to land on the floor first. And as the front part of the shoe lands on the floor, then you slide ahead, slide with your sliding foot, while keeping the sliding foot under the weight here. Okay, so I use this in blue. Yep, so you can see that front part of my shoe lands first. Then as you slide forward, pay attention to keep your sliding leg under your center of gravity, under your upper body. So you can see here, so I'm keeping the sliding leg under my upper body here. Right, so that's how how bowlers should work on their slide. Okay, so slide with the front of the shoe first. So I'll just keep this video playing, and you can see that even though I don't have that much, it's quite high friction because this is my living room floor. But you can see that I land with the front of my left shoe going first, and I keep my sliding leg under my upper body as I slide forward. Okay, so that is how, yeah, a bowler like Mr. Po Panda should work on his slide. Okay, and yep, so I think that's the end of the video. So a simple shout out. So at the end, as usual, normal shout outs for my coaching services as well. If anybody from the overseas would like to have one-on-one coaching with me, we can do so via Zoom or Discord. Just need to have a tripod and a handphone camera, and then we can do it via internet, via Zoom or Discord. Normally I'll usually ask for about 50 USD per 90-minute session. So that's my rates for online coaching. You can contact me through all my social media channels. You can contact me through my WhatsApp as well. My number is provided there. Other than that, if you'd like to send me just a simple bowling video for me to do a review on my channel, I'm doing that free of charge. You can put your video anywhere. And as usual for bowlers in Singapore, if you're looking for one-on-one coaching and group coaching is available. My rates and everything are listed on my website, which is bowlingwithcoachcharlie.com. You can check out my website links in my video descriptions. So you can check out my rates there and can contact me via WhatsApp. All right, thank you very much for watching. We will see you guys next time.